It was a Friday night. We were at Jason's house after playing a few drinking games, and we were all slightly tipsy. That's when Anthony brought up the topic of the dark web. Some of us had been on there before and brought up their experiences, but most were of the opinion that it was highly staged. That's when we decided to check it out. Anthony had Tor already installed, and we entered a strange website, which he admitted he hadn't visited. It was full of weird videos, and it kind of made me sick. It was all tolerable until we clicked a link which led us to some extremely disturbing videos. They all displayed violence, rape, torture in the back of some weird-looking van. And all of us were like, no, shut it down, shut it down. My friend was about to close all the tabs when a chat box popped up. On the screen was the message, "Do you want someone collected for a price?" We all panicked, but Anthony decided to reply anyways, and together, we threatened the messenger that we'd report his site to the authorities, that what he was doing was wrong and twisted. I wouldn't if I were you. Jason Cunningham, 714 Bowman Street, North Miami. It was then that we freaked out and looked at one another, our faces pale from fright. He had stated the exact address of Jason's house, along with his name. We logged out of the dark web and pretended that nothing happened, even though we were totally creeped out by the incident. Over the next few days, we tried to forget the incident as nothing out of the ordinary happened. That was, until Jason texted us that his dog was missing. We looked everywhere for Bruce. We searched the neighborhood, contacted animal shelters, put up posters with pictures, but to no avail. A week passed by and we were all at Jason's house again when a small package arrived for him. There was no information on the sender. It was completely anonymous. James opened it up, and to his horror, we found Bruce's collar inside with a note. "Next time, it'll be you." We panicked, but didn't dare to contact the authorities, scared that the person would collect one of us if we did. We didn't say a word about the incident to anyone, and of course, never dared to venture upon the dark web ever again. This happened to me last Monday when I came back from school. I'm an introvert who has no social life and no friends either. So, as usual, when I came back, I got myself some light snacks and got hooked on watching anime. I was so engrossed in it that I didn't realize when it became dark. I was quite tired of watching, so I decided to take a break. Just as I was about to close the tab, my eyes fell on the chat box to the right side of the website. This was usually where anime fans discussed what they were watching and all. Some guy had just sent a link to a temporary chat. I was curious, so I clicked on it. It led me to a page where there were a lot of messages and Steam links. I clicked on one. The live stream opened up. It was a dark room and there was a guy tied to a chair in the middle. Beside the chair was a table. It had various items on it, ranging from weapons to tools like hammers and axes. I didn't know what was going on until a man appeared in a mask. In his hand, he held a blood-stained knife. It was then that I noticed, carefully, that the man who was tied was hurt. He was bleeding from his wrists. They had cuts on them. "Should I finish him?" the man said in a strange voice. It sounded as if he was using a voice changer to deepen his voice. Was this a staged show? I wondered. I looked at the comment section. Everyone was telling him to finish him. There were comments which were extremely brutal, like shoot him in the head, put him in boiling water. Most of the people wanted him to use the axe on the guy. I saw the masked man pick up the heavy axe. My body froze as he raised it above his head and brought it down on the guy who was tied up. The axe got stuck in his head and there was a shower of blood spraying out of it. The man was dead. I had just seen a man get killed. I felt sick, and I closed the stream. I regretted that I had even clicked on it. I wanted to close the tab, but it wouldn't close. Instead, it redirected me to another page where there were loads of other disturbing and horrible videos. There were several rows of them. In each row, there were 4 to 5. What was really disturbing about them was that they were like a series. I kept scrolling, hoping there'd be an exit button at the end, which was stupid. When I finally reached the end, I saw a familiar face in one of the videos of the last row. It was that man, the one I had just witnessed being killed. The first image was of him, staring at the camera and completely normal. After that, there were pictures of him on the street, then of him sleeping. Finally, there was the video that I'd just seen. It had been uploaded just now. When I looked under it, I saw a new row had been formed. The first picture was me, staring into my webcam, in the same clothes I was wearing now. I got scared and began to press the power button. Then I heard a beep and a notification popped up out of nowhere, which said, "We see you." Finally, my laptop shut down. It's been 3 days, and I cannot help but look over my shoulder every now and again. Will I meet the same fate? I had heard many stories about the dark web, and I have to admit my curiosity was perked up. I mean, who wouldn't be curious? I decided to look for stuff. At first, I didn't find anything. Frustrated, I began to do a bit of research and discovered that to access the dark web, I would need a browser designed to access it with an anonymous IP. Eventually, I found myself on the dark web. I clicked a link which led me to a video that had been uploaded only recently. It was a dark room. There was a person tied up to a chair. Their features were visible. In the background, I could make out a person standing, wearing a woman's porcelain mask with long hair. He was approaching the person who was tied up. In his hand, I could make out a tool that resembled an axe, except that it was greater in width. The axe was near the person's neck. He looked hopeless and scared. My heart was pounding loudly. I could hear it and almost believe it would leap out of my chest at any instant. I could vaguely guess what was about to happen and didn't have the nerve to keep on watching. I exited the video and logged out of the dark web. I sat there, staring at my laptop's home screen. I was sweating. I jumped back in alarm as a sound came from my PC. I looked at the notification that popped up. I trembled as I read it. Written across my screen were the capitalized words, "Did you not like the show? Would you prefer to see it live?" I freaked out and deleted the message. I shut down my laptop and sat there on my bed. The whole thing was very unnerving and disturbing. I slept somehow, and after a couple of days, I'd almost forgotten all about it. It was the third night when I woke up suddenly in the middle of the night to a sound of loud screeching coming from my backyard. At first, I thought it must be an animal, but how could it be? It was raining outside. I got up and went to the window. The blood drained from my face when I saw the same guy from the video with the porcelain mask just sitting there in the rain, complete with his accessories. I was scared out of my wits and immediately shut the window and dialed 911. After making the call, I looked out the window once again. The figure that had been there just moments ago had now vanished into thin air. The police arrived and searched the premises, but there was no sign of the guy anywhere. When the cops were gone and I returned to my room, I found a note on my bed. It said, "Did you not enjoy the show?" in a scribbly handwriting. I was scared shitless and slept with the lights on, my window bolted, and my door locked. Needless to say, I moved houses soon afterwards.